Hello and welcome to another Triple Threat. I am Big Daddy V, and to my right, the California Kid.
Yo, what's good?
All right, guys, it's been a while, but let's get down to it. Let's talk about the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that. Oh my goodness.
I would say it was a pretty good pay per view, but was kind of boring. Other than the Elimination Chamber, everything was just
I mean, it wasn't a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. And I did have one. I only had one discrepancy for the elimination chamber, and like just the redesign. Like I understand the need for pads, but you know, I
Well,
just I,
well, let's put it this way. This year they, I guess because it's a SmackDown brand, they redone the Elimination Chamber from old. They now have it's kind of like a
it's taller now. It's like a
rectangular
rectangular
cages,
cages.
where you
It
can
actually has
basically have
platforms
a
now.
platform for the wrestlers to stand on. They have kind of like a plastic screen where you can still see them
Yeah.
at the top of the
Yeah, it's
cages.
constructed more carefully with like a
Yeah, the
taller.
weighing cells,
Yeah,
and now they got padding because I guess the old metal
I think
frames hurt the wrestlers, so I guess now they put the padding in there for them. And
I think that was part of the sell for that match. Though is the fact that that was one of the most grueling parts of the match to me is when they take a back bump on the grate. Now, granted, I do agree that it needs to be kind of lessened considering the fact that they're trying to preserve talent for long term use. But I think that at least one person in that match should have ripped the mat off and just done one spot at least in the match. Now, it doesn't have to happen the whole match, but just a nod to the fact that this is an elimination chamber would have been nice. That would have been nice if somebody had just gone for one,
yeah,
But I mean, hey, that's
but it was a good design. I kind of liked it, I guess, and I think also the reason why they redid it was because the old Elimination Chamber wouldn't fit these new
no.
arenas, so they had to redo it. But to me, it did all right.
Okay.
It was stylish, but you know, it is what it was. So we start with Mickey James versus Becky Lynch. Decent match.
Decent, decent.
Not one of Becky's best.
No.
Surprised that Becky went over, but
Shocking. Becky actually went over this time.
they brought Mickey James in to bring up the new talent.
Yeah.
But still, you know, in order to do that, you got to give Mickey a little shine, though.
Yeah, I think this was like I said, the match was it was wrestled okay. There was nothing special happened in it, but it was the finish was could have been a little smoother, but it was nice. It was a good finish. It just could have been a slight bit more. The execution could have been a little bit more sleek, but it was okay.
But
It was a good finish.
decent match. Becky won. Next match, handicap match between Apollo Cruz and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler. Uh, Not really. It was mostly a smack. It felt more like a SmackDown match than a pay per view
It
match.
did. It wasn't to me like because of what they're trying to do with this story. It almost and sadly I just think they did it in the wrong era. Like this story is just in the wrong era. Like it would have to be for them to carry this where they want to. It would have to get way more violent, and somebody would have to get cracked open. But the hard way. But it's just because of what Dolph is trying to do here. It has to be way more violent. So maybe this wasn't the best choice of story for this angle with these guys. I mean, a traditional competition three-way feud where nobody was on anybody's side would have helped all three men if they had just done a nice triple threat feud for a number one contendership or something would have been nice. That would have been a little bit more entertaining to watch, considering that you have Apollo Crews and Police. So you have that would have been a little bit better to watch. I don't know.
Well, it just seems like they messing up with Dolph. I mean, I was glad that he put him back as a heel because
Yeah,
let's be honest, Dolph is better as a heel.
yes he is.
And I understand what they're trying to do with Apollo Crews, but it just seems like it's missing something. It's something that Apollo Crews is missing, and putting him with Callisto is not going to
He
help him
he's
or
he's missing
Callisto.
he's missing a worthy rival. I think if it were just him and Dolph, it would work better. And if Dolph and him actually started having one-on-one heat and they actually did a real program, like that would actually kind of get Cruz over if they did a straight up, if they just went, if they had a serious feud, but they just, I don't know, man. They just they think, I know they have a problem with Apollo's promo, I know
Well,
that's,
a lot of people keep saying he smiles too
he
much,
does. He
and
does.
they say that hurts his character a lot. But I think he just needs more. He needs to do something. People keep saying he needs to be like RVD. He needs to do a lot more. He needs to
He does need to push it. He does need to
push.
push the envelope. I agree. He does need to kind of push the envelope. He has the ability to push the envelope. He just hasn't done it yet.
Yeah,
He needs to push the envelope. He needs to get innovative. He needs to start doing crazy stuff. He needs to start pushing his limit to how much he can get away with. He does need to start doing that more.
yeah,
And I think that probably might be fitting better for him. You know. But yeah, that's something that may need to happen. I don't know what they're going to do with him now. I have no idea, but they got to do something. They got to come up with something, man.
yeah. But winner is Dolph Ziggler.
Mhm.
We get to the tag team turmoil with Heath Slater and Rhino, the Ascension, Usos, the Vaught Villains, Breezango, and Alpha American Alpha. And like I said, this was like the second best match.
Yeah, it was.
Um, Seemed like they were actually pushing the Vaught Villains, which was, I mean, not the Vaught Villains, but the Ascension.
Yeah, I'm glad they did something with the Ascension.
I see that they finally got rid of the whole fake LOD
Oh
maker
yeah.
that they came up from NXT to SmackDown with. But it seemed like they were going to push him, but I guess they were just there to job for American Alpha. A good match between with Rhino and Slater against Fandango, and then the Usos with their heel gimmick.
The Usos are actually looking good these days. The Usos are actually doing really well these days.
Yeah.
This is working for them.
So, but still great match. American Alpha wins. We're gonna go to Nikki and Natalia. Okay, this sucked. I mean, whatever little push Nikki was getting after her bout with uh, Carmella, it kind of went to crap. And this was just sad waste of time. And I know Natalia was trying her best to get her over.
Natalia did a lot in this match. I definitely liked what Natalia was doing out there. I mean, they both gave it a go, but I just think that this it and again I go back to the statement I made earlier. Some of these things they're writing are wrong era, just the wrong era. I'm not saying I wasn't entertained. I'm just saying it didn't wow me because this kind of heat that they're trying to build can't go as far as it needs to. It can't get as far as it needs to really be believable. At times during the promos they did against each other and all the interviews and stuff, it almost went there, but there's a line they can't cross that you can visibly see, and it kind of ruins the believability of the whole match and the whole program. I think it's just the wrong time to write angles like this. It's just getting personal, saying some of the things they say. You can't write a program where things are going to get said that personal in an era where you can't actually deliver on how intense the match is going to be.
Yeah,
Where you physically cannot deliver that because of the era you're in. I think that there's something to be said for that.
yeah. And then to be both double count out was just
Yeah,
weak.
that was weak. That was awful. But I didn't. I thought I thought at times they had a good pacing going. They had some good things happen in that match, but it just wasn't. It didn't come together for me. It just didn't come together for me. But,
Yeah. Like I said, it was a double count out, and we go to Orton versus Luke Harper.
oh yes,
It was an alright match to me.
it was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. This was actually a surprisingly better match than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be yawning through this match, but it started slow, but then it kind of picked up and got going, and they kept a good. It wasn't a terrible match. It wasn't. It it was way better than what I expected it to be. Way better. I thought this was going to be a dang snore fest, but this got over good. This was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Randy Orton wins the match. Next match, SmackDown Women's Title match: Naomi versus Alyssa Bliss.
Okay, I wanted to say this about this match. Granted, I think I will say this. I have enjoyed watching Naomi. First and foremost, I've enjoyed watching Naomi. I think she has some very special and unique abilities. But I think that she needs to carefully perfect her execution because, man, sometimes I'm just biting my nails when she goes to these spots because it almost looks as though she has a almost 30% chance, if not 25% chance of somehow botching these moves, even though she doesn't. I think she's at about she's got a pretty high percentage of success rate, which I like. But there, I just don't think she. And then here's another thing: I don't think she has any chemistry with Alexa Bliss. I don't think they have any in ring synergy. They just it's not, and it's not that they don't that it's not anything personal, anything like that. I just think that I think some people just have different rhythms and just don't really mesh. Those two really just maybe time will fix it, but those two really aren't meshing in the ring together.
Yeah.
Not in terms of style. They're not meshing. They're kind of it's kind of hard. And I know because Alexa Bliss had this issue in NXT when I used to watch. Like because of Alexa Bliss's size, it can be kind of hard to really, you know, sink in with her. Because she's so small and so you have to oversell almost to get it going. But I don't know. It's one of those things. They're both really good. It's just like I don't know if this is the right matchup yet. They may need some time to really get used to each other. I don't know. This is maybe a trust issue. Just needs some time to work together more and develop like that synergy. But it wasn't there for me. I was happy though. I was happy as hell to see Naomi win finally. Naomi's been in the game for a long time. I was really happy.
Well, I agree with you. Naomi needs to slow down with all the doing all the spots,
Acrobatics, yeah.
especially after what happened after, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But it was a good match. It had a lot of botches. You could clearly see,
Synergy, no chemistry.
and but it was a decent match. I was more surprised with them letting her beat Alexa because honestly, Alexa as champion was a great idea. She vastly improving with her character
She
as
was.
champion, but to take it off her so soon, I would at least waited till WrestleMania. Then, if they wanted to get the title to Naomi, give it to her then. It would mean more.
And then they could have had them in that time going to WrestleMania. In that time, they could have given them time to kind of just work together more because it just seems like they need to really get used to each other. It just to me, I'm watching this and it seems like they just don't have that connection in there. They don't. It's like they have trust, but they just don't have a good feel for each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing out there.
But it was just a little shocking. I think they pretty much was playing on the whole Black History Month and all that,
Yeah, it could have
which
been.
I can understand, but still, it would have been more better if Naomi was chasing Alexa to WrestleMania, then give her the title.
That would have probably been more befitting.
But your winner is Naomi.
Yeah.
And let me say one thing before we get into the Elimination Chamber. This one segment really teed me off and really had no purpose in there. And that was the segment with Carmella and
Oh, when they were up in the skybox.
yeah,
Oh
Carmella
my
and
God! Yeah, what
James
was?
Ellsworth segment. That kept just getting on my nerves and really served no purpose.
Why were they? What was the deal with
I
that?
guess it was WWE's way because they say that the fans love Ellsworth, and it was just a way to keep him in the show and all that. And
Half of the fans love Ellsworth. Half do not. I don't think WWE knows this, but it's 50-50.
well
Half,
they say
half love him, half absolutely hate him.
he's selling merch, so
He's making money.
they gonna promote him. But honestly, I nothing against Mr. Ellsworth, but I'm just not a fan. I really don't see the point. If anything, his feud to me kind of hurt both AJ and Dean Ambrose, and it
I don't.
just
I don't think it did because it didn't last long. It didn't go too long. It went longer than it should have, but it didn't go too
I think it
long.
hurt AJ because it made him turn. I want to say one turn him into a goofy champion because he was picking on Ellsworth and all that, and
I
it
think
just the storyline was just stupid.
the reason why I think it was okay is because I feel like for a first run with the cast they have, I felt like he was as long as they kept it that Dean when they did the thing where he costed Dean that I feel like they dropped the ball with that because Dean. Okay, so we do this thing. Ellsworth's beating Styles all these times. Ellsworth strikes out on his own to try, but I liked it when it was Dean's way. It was kind of like they back and forth every night. That Dean and AJ were trying to outsmart each other, but AJ kept winning because AJ is somewhat smarter than Dean. But even though he would use Ellsworth to try to outsmart AJ Styles as a tool, and in that respect, it worked for me. But when it stopped working for me is when they tried to make Ellsworth go out on his own. That's when it kind of got silly because then he goes in there, gets beat up by AJ Styles again. It just didn't make sense to me because they didn't capitalize on the heat he would have with Dean. Dean, all they did, the blow off for this whole thing. This is what sucked about it. This is what hurt me about it. It wasn't the fact that Ellsworth was involved with AJ. I thought that was fine. I could deal with that. But what pissed me off is the whole blow off. This man just pushed Dean off a damn lap. This man just cost Dean the WWE Championship. The blow off is next night on Smackdown. Dean just walks down the ring, gives him dirty deeds, walks away. That's the blow off. He should have murdered him. He should have put him through both tables, ran him up through the backstage area, beat him all over the place. He should have been in a pile. Like he should have near killed him. I thought that was the most stupidest thing. That's it. He just walks out, dirty deeds him in the middle of the ring, and walks away. That's it. That's the blow off. That's
Yeah,
just stupid. That's the blow off.
yeah,
Like that's what made it suck for me. That's what hurt my feelings there. I'm just like, okay, after everything, after all the buildup, and then yeah, it did. That's how it hurt AJ ultimately because AJ went through this whole program with him, and the blow off is that. That's your blow off. What?
yeah. It just really didn't make sense to me. But let's get into it. Elimination Chamber had both the Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose, Miz, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, Bray Wyatt, and Champion John Cena. Which, let's be honest, the only reason they put the title on Cena was to tie with Ric Flair.
People have been irate. A lot of friends of mine have been irate about this.
Look, I don't have a problem with him
I don't have an
tying
issue.
with Flair, but we'll talk about it later after this. But so the match starts. Um, Cena and AJ were the first two in the
Yeah,
fight in the chamber. Great match. Then AJ goes, and they go back and forth. Then Dean Ambrose makes his way into the match.
Yeah, Dean comes in next, and they get into the
Yeah, and they do the little spots. Then Baron Corbin comes in and cleans house a little bit. Then Miz comes in, but he
This is the funniest part of the match. Miz is guys. You watch this match. Miz's door opens and Miz just stands there. He doesn't move an inch. He's just staring, terrified, looking at Baron Corbin. It's one of the funniest moments. He doesn't. I don't think he ever came out until Baron Corbin. Until what you're about to get to. Baron Corbin gets eliminated. Oh God, that was funny. The look on his face is what made it funny.
well, Dean gets not Dean, but
Dean
Corbin gets
Corbin.
eliminated first. Which sets Corbin off, and he beats the living crap out of Dean, throws him into the pod.
Yep.
And then Dean gets eliminated by Miz, and then Miz gets eliminated easily by John Cena.
John gets him.
I gotta say one thing: the spot with AJ and John made no sense. I didn't know why, because I didn't really see the spot where John and Cena were fighting outside. Then they started climbing up top of the on the fence.
Oh yeah, okay. This thing was
That really made no sense.
Yeah.
And then I think John took the fall on the mat.
Yeah, that was dumb because there it goes. Remember we talked about at the beginning of the show. I said it would have made sense if we taken one bump on the grate. That would have made sense. AJ should have ripped. Somebody not on the cage should have came out there and ripped the mat off. Why didn't they just tear the mat off just that one time? That would have made sense.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
But the last three men were Cena, AJ, and Wyatt. Wyatt caught Cena and eliminated Cena, which means that the last two would be the new WWE Championship.
Yep.
And it came down to Wyatt and AJ, and then Wyatt pinned AJ to become the new WWE Champion. And now Bray Wyatt is the champion of...
Which is way overdue, but it just, man, I'm glad they pulled it now, which is actually a decent time to pull it. But I still go back to that WrestleMania when he faced John Cena. That was the time to do it right there. But they kind of blew that.
Yeah, they blew it. They should have did this a long time ago.
This was way overdue. This is way past overdue.
But I'm happy for Bray. He deserved it.
Husky Harris deserved it.
Should have been done a long time ago. And they pretty much had a decent match on the Smackdown after, where it was a triple threat with him, AJ, and Cena.
That was good.
That was a pretty good match.
It was a really good match.
And pretty much sets up WrestleMania for Orton and Bray until Orton gives a speech on SmackDown saying that he wasn't going to face Wyatt as long as he has the title. So they sitting him in a tailspin, and he had another battle royal.
Yeah, you got the keys to the kingdom, as he said. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had a battle royale, and had both Luke Harper and AJ outside, and what was it, like a suplex?
Yeah, they were on the staircase near the corner, and they go for this suplex spot. Okay, it's obvious I don't know what they were planning.
I think AJ was supposed to catch himself and supposed to keep staying still and then do a spot to fall off, but I guess he couldn't hang on. And I guess Luke saw that and just went for it, but you can clearly see that AJ fell first.
Yeah,
and now you'll put what WWE is trying to say. You can clearly see AJ fell first and Luke fell after him. It's not like when Lex Luger and Bret him and Hart fell, and you could tell.
Yeah, you could tell who hit it. Yeah,
you can clearly tell AJ fell first. But WWE had to play like everybody's an idiot, and didn't see that AJ body hit the floor first before Luke Harper's body did. So, set up a match for between Luke and AJ. AJ won.
I heard this was a situation in the back and created because they were having quite a split vote on whether they wanted to go with Luke Harper, Bray at Mania, or whether they had to go with AJ Styles. I heard there was like a tear as to why they didn't decide they just ended at the Rumble, but they went with the match between AJ Styles and Luke Harper. I guess to buy time on the decision, but man, they went with AJ. Yeah, I was shocked at that.
Mm-hmm. But so it's AJ for right now, but it might be changing because Randy Orton this week turned on Wyatt finally
In grand fashion, I might add.
and burned down his little sanctuary.
And folks, this was not, if you haven't seen this yet, this was not some special effects thing. No, I was shocked that they actually went there. But yeah, they actually burned an actual shack in this. Like, he poured kerosene everywhere and actually burned it. I mean, it wasn't CGI or anything. They actually went for it. It wasn't like some one-sided set that they burned. No, like not like in the '80s. They actually had a full shack out there that he came out of, and they cut the cameras, like camera people get out and they actually burned it. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, but that was good that he did that.
Yeah, so we might get a triple threat, but we will see. So let's get into well, let's wait. Let's talk about this Naomi thing. So after Naomi wins the title, she apparently did had a legit injury and had to forfeit the title. And then they had the match with Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss beats Becky Lynch to become a two-time SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, I mean, I feel bad for Naomi because
I do too.
she was supposed to be, I think it was Divas Champion before, but then she got injured.
Yeah.
Now she becomes Women's Champion and gets injured again.
They have to take it off her again.
And plus, she's going to probably miss WrestleMania in her home city, which is a big bummer. But
Heartbreaking.
It is what it is. And like I said, they should have kept the title on Melissa and let Naomi chase her. But hopefully, Naomi can come back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
In full health. But it's gonna be weird to kind of see what they're gonna do now because WrestleMania lineup looks all kind of foggy. Don't know which is which.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
So we'll see. So let's get to Raw. The Festival of Friendship. Kind of a real crazy Raw.
This was. Whew.
I have to say, the Festival of Friendship was a good segment.
It was one of the best segments ever. That was like crazy, man.
Chris Jericho's outfit was just nuts. I mean, you kind of love Chris Jericho, man.
That guy is great. He's the
girls and the goofy art.
That painting. That painting, man. Come on.
Jesus Christ. He's like, Kevin was like, the kids can't see this. It's like, you don't even have pants. I mean, I don't have to have pants. It's art.
It's art. Yeah.
Just
so he paid like what $7,000 for the statue.
Yeah. But we have Kevin Owens turning on Chris Jericho, going back to the old Kevin Owens, which in my mind I kind of like and should have stayed.
It's Steen. It's freaking Steen.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the whole Chris Jericho, but I like this Kevin Owens better. But they did the old crashing through the glass,
the barbershop, the Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, they ran it.
And then I love the somebody pointed this out on Solomon Hustle's podcast that when they were putting Chris Jericho into the ambulance. You can clearly see behind when they were doing the promoting the events for the at the arena. And when they put Chris Jericho into the ambulance, a Bon Jovi proposal thing comes up, and I'm like, wow,
That's
totally
dope.
coincidence. But it looks like it might have been orchestrated by Triple H because during before the festival, Triple H talked to Kevin Owens, so Triple H might have something to do with it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, we get to hear from Samoa Joe. He pretty much talked about why he did what he did to Seth Rollins.
Guys, just doing great, menacing. He looks the way he's supposed to look, man. That guy, this is Samoa damn Joe. This is Samoa Joe. This is the guy we know that dominated ROH. This is Samoa freaking Joe.
Yeah. So I guess because of self injury, we're now having a feud with Joe and Sami Zayn. So
Should be interesting.
should be interesting.
El Generico, they know he hated him, but it just seems like El Generico has so many enemies. It's like, dude, Steen hated him, Joe hated him, everybody hated Generico.
But so the main event was Bailey versus Charlotte, which once again I don't really see why they did this on Raw, but I
Trying to keep Charlotte's little streak going. She'll probably win the night.
yeah, but great match. We saw a return of Dana Brooke.
Really good finish.
You
Really,
know, if WWE wanted a woman to be like Emelina, hell, Dana Brooke's pretty good. I mean,
Dana Brooke.
she's a nice looking chick. I mean, she can't work. She ain't wrestle for shit, but
Yeah,
I mean, hell, Sable was real. She was decent wrestler, but
Sable.
Sable,
Sable was like she was. Ugh.
yeah, she was.
She had a nice power bomb, but other than that, I didn't see anything else she did.
But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But Sasha came out, made the save, hit Charlotte in the chest with her crutch
Oh yeah.
in order for Bailey to win and become the new Raw Women's Champion. And
I thought that worked because of what she said to her before the match, and I think a lot of people forget that Sasha Banks is a heel. People forget that. Sasha Banks can do some pretty dastardly stuff. She may be playing face now, but she's a heel
yeah,
through and through. That's like she was she was bad way before Charlotte got bad. She was the original bad. She was the original baddie. She was bad. She's still bad. And you just don't know.
yeah. But so we get with Charlotte going back and forth telling Bailey that this is her, she's a cheater, and she give the title back. Bailey pretty much says no, and pretty much says with her facing her at Fastlane for the title. Now, I really, really hope that WWE is not doing this to try to get her up to where her father is, because that's just insane. I
That'd
mean,
be pointless.
Flair got those 16 titles through years of being champion,
60-minute matches.
not in months.
These like when they call him the 60-minute man, especially you young guys out there who haven't been around in the 80s or didn't watch any of that stuff. Ric Flair, you'll often hear Ric Flair called the 60-minute man. Ric Flair's world title matches went an hour. This is before the Iron Man match came along. No, these were 1 hour wrestling matches. They had a few rest spots, but these matches went entire damn hour. Like he wrestled Dusty Rhodes for over an hour. Like you go watch the matches, man. Like those things are like wars. They were because and during Ric Flair's day, you didn't get a world championship shot. Like in your career, you may get maybe 3 chances in your whole career to get a world championship shot at best, if not 2. Because the NWA champion traveled all over the world, and you may have the NWA champion it come through your territory, which is under the NWA, maybe once in a blue moon. you may never see it again. And if you're not a top guy in that promotion, you will never see the NWA Championship. I mean, that's how crazy it was. So yeah, you get in there, you want all the time you can get. Shoot, Ric Flair wrestling in damn North Korea, man. Ric Flair wrestling in North Korea, people. Ric Flair wrestling in Japan. Ric Flair was like Ric Flair wrestling. That was back when you could defend the world title in different promotions. Ric Flair wrestled all over the damn world. He wrestled in Africa. Man wrestled in damn South America and freaking. He was wrestling everywhere. Ric Flair flew all over the damn world. He wrestled in Australia. Then he went to Argentina and he went to you kids need to look this stuff up, man. Ric Flair. They talk about people. John Cena tying Ric Flair. Nothing on John Cena. John Cena is one of the greatest employees in the company's history. But damn it, that can't hold a candle to what Ric Flair did in the business. You guys. The footage is there, man. You could watch the footage. That's why people have a problem with it. The evidence is there. Ric Flair worked way harder than anybody ever will. But yeah, I'm just giving credit where credit's due. Anyway, yeah. Charlotte, they'll probably, I don't know if they're trying to make this her legacy, like she's the undefeated pay-per-view queen or whatever, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know what they're trying to do with this.
Yeah, I think they should have waited for WrestleMania to give it to Bailey.
Yep.
But
I mean, I don't know if they're trying to save Charlotte for Nia Jax to have a big push off beating her. I don't know because they haven't pulled the trigger on Nia Jax yet.
I mean, they haven't really helped Nia. I mean,
and she's
you can do as
better.
much. I mean, you can do as much as giving her jobbers, but you got to build on her. She's been waiting out the wayside, haven't been doing anything, or to mess with both Bailey, Sasha, and Charlotte. But they just need to do more with Nia.
They do. I watched her second match against Asuka in Japan. She can do some amazing stuff. She took a German suplex. This woman folded herself. She can move. They just not letting her move. She can damn move. Like Nia Jax got some moves, man. They just ain't letting her do it. You know what I mean? They need to pull the trigger on her soon, man. She's just sitting there. Like do something with her.
Yeah. But let's get into this. Also on the show, we got to see Emma come in as Emmalina, and then walk back out and was completely done. Apparently, WWE nixed the whole Emmalina character because they didn't feel that Emily would be perfect for the role, and sources say that she was supposed to be another variation of Sable and the Cat, which kind of shocked me because last time I checked, the Cat left on bad terms with WWE.
She left really bad terms, yeah.
So I don't know why. And basically, I mean, I don't understand it since you got Eva Marie if she's still with the company, which I don't know if she still is at the moment. Last time we heard from Eva Marie, she was doing her suspension, a wellness violation, and we haven't heard nothing more. A lot of people said that she's not with the company anymore, and she took all anything with WWE off her Twitter, off her Instagram. So we haven't heard anything officially. But I don't really see the reason why Emma had to change. I mean, even Emma was good. I mean,
Emma was really good.
It was over. She didn't really have to do anything.
People liked the look. The song was good.
Yeah, and if anything, like I said, you got Dana Brooke, who's not really that good as a wrestler. I mean, she's hot. I mean, she's got a nice body. Use her. Now they're saying that they're reaching out to older wrestlers like Kelly to come back, and I don't really see that happening. If I was Kelly's husband, after hearing all the stories about my wife, why in the blue hell would I want her to go back to WWE?
Yeah, for real. Like, do you hear what Randy said about her?
That would not be happening. And it just was a bad idea, and maybe Emma didn't want to be known as just the you know
I
the
thought about this. You know what I think really may have deterred her from doing this?
what
It's not just the Diva Revolution. She considers herself to be, because she had some good matches. She's really good. I think it's also the fact that they probably asked her to get some body modification, and that's where she probably flipped the
body
table a little.
modification.
They probably wanted her to boost it and increase her size a bit on both ends. They probably because I bet that's what happened. I bet that was the killer. That was the thing that killed this gimmick because she probably said hell no.
If that is true, WWE is a bunch of fucking
Now
morons.
that's just me like pondering like
If that
what
is
could have
true, then
happened.
WWE and Vince need to be smacked across the face because
Because they did
that is
that.
just stupid.
Remember Trish took hers out. They made Trish do that. And
Yeah, but
Trish took
she
hers out.
did. Yeah, but she did that after she
Yeah,
retired.
yeah, but still, it's a thing. They did every one of them did that. It's a thing. You see what I mean? They had to undo that shit after they left. So it's like, dude, that's. I think they wanted Emma to go all the way, and she wouldn't. I think they wanted Emma to go all the way into this gimmick and like actually modify her body, and she wouldn't do it. That's probably what happened.
But as we don't know pretty much.
I mean, she has a nice body, but it's not a how you say it's not a blustering body. You know what I mean? It's a fit, nice, fine body, but it's not it's not a pot. It's not a busty. It's not busty. You know what I mean? It ain't busty enough for the thing that Vince like that busty look. You know how Vince like it to be bumping on both ends.
Okay. We're moving on, and we're getting this. It was announced this week that Beth Phoenix will be entering the Hall of Fame this year with Diamond Dallas Page and the also the Rock and Roll Express. So
A little early, but I don't mind. It could have been Dark Journey or somebody.
honestly, I love Beth Phoenix, but I really don't understand why she's getting in. I mean, she had some good feuds with Mickey James.
Yeah,
She had some good feuds with Marlena.
it was a good gimmick, the
But
glamazon, but still, I
but
just
the one thing they probably would have gotten her over was that whole Divas of Destruction with Natalia, and unfortunately, they didn't really do much with them in order for it to be worth anything. Now, if they had like AJ or people like Bailey or Sasha and
yeah.
Charlotte and Becky back then, it would probably work because they have some people to work with. Uh,
Back then, pickings were slim, man.
uh, Very slim. I mean, who did Beth really have other than Natalia to work a good match? Kelly,
Kelly was a botch
Eve,
vest.
Layla,
Jesus.
Michelle
What was it,
McCool.
Oksana? Who are these people? There was all these women.
I mean,
I don't even remember a lot of these women. Like, I remember there was a Michelle McCool. I remember that.
yeah, and Mickey James. But I think Mickey was pretty much headed out by that
Yeah, she was
time.
gone.
But I don't know. They didn't have that many for Beth and Natalia to work with for it to get over. Now, if they can get her to come back, which I think probably doubt since she's got a mother too, uh, and have her team up with Natalia again and go up against Becky Lynch, that might be a good thing. That would be a great thing. But it just depends on, has Beth really kept up?
Yeah.
Can she get in the ring shape by a certain time? But, you know, is, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying that, for her to
I feel
be
like it's
picked
early.
before Lulu Vachon or Molly
Yeah.
Holly or Victoria or,
That's my question. What about okay? They put Jackie in, but had they gotten Ivory yet?
nope.
Had they gotten damn like yeah? Where's Molly? Where's Ivory and Molly? They were great. You're gonna put Ivory in the Hall of Fame? It's like Luna. Come on, man. Bull Nakano. No, I'm freaking like what the hell, man?
But anyway, congratulations to Beth. and we should see when the Hall of Fame rolls around.
Yeah.
Uh, but what do you think about the Rock and Roll Express going in?
Well, these two gentlemen, they actually did 3 promos for our BACW show, which was awesome. They were really nice guys, crazy as hell, but really nice. Um, yeah, they had quite a they were they're wrestling history. They are wrestling history. They had some historic runs. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's pretty cool. Love their interest theme.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about the news. A lot of people are leaving TNA, especially Matt and Jeff. They are officially
Mass
gone
Exodus, Ring
from
of Honor.
TNA. Uh, Ruby Sky put out this crazy tweet about how Anthem pretty much wasn't playing fair and how you try to do the right thing and people try to screw you, which really was a shocking tweet. But she went really off on Anthem about that.
Mm.
It just seems like Anthem just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, you would think after they get required TNA that things would get better, but they lost Matt and Jeff. They lost Jade. I forgot what her indie name, Mimi
I
something.
forgot
I forgot.
her. I forgot it.
Which honestly, to be fair, she really wasn't nothing to scream about. Drew Galloway's gone, and also
Drew Galloway.
yeah, and also Maria and her husband are also gone, which is surprising because I thought that they did lock them up for a new contract, but I guess not because I think they said that they were big fans of Corgan, so that's probably the reason why they
Oh
leaving.
yeah, they had to pay Corgan back that money.
Yeah. No, I
Oh
mean like the reason why they probably leave is because Corgan left.
yeah,
So
Corgan
Maria
walked.
and her husband is pretty much gone. So I don't know what Anthem is. I mean, they gave the reins back to Jeff Jarrett. They brought back
Jarrett, man,
Scott Moore,
the global force back in
and
this thing.
they
Conan.
brought back what's the name? Zeb Coulter,
Yep.
and they also brought back
Dutch
Bruce Pritchard
Martel.
to do some backstage stuff. So I don't know. It just depends. But let's get into the predictions for Fastlane
All right.
tonight. And we already talked about this, but let's get our picks. Charlotte versus Bailey for the Raw Women's title. I think we pretty much know it's going to be Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah, that's gonna
Uh,
happen.
Rick Swan and Akira
Oh yeah.
Toza and versus
Versus.
Brian Kendrick and Lauren Durr at the kickoff show.
This will most probably. I think that Tozawa and them will get this one. I think that they'll get that Tozawa's gonna win this because Kendrick's been going over on him a lot. So I think they're gonna give this to Tozawa's team.
You know, Sasha versus Nia Jax again.
Naya.
That's a Nia. Raw Tag Team Championships. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo and Big Cass.
The club.
I'm
Club's
going with the
winning.
club.
Club's winning that.
Yeah, Enzo and Cass probably win at WrestleMania. The Cruiserweight Championship, Devil versus Jack Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher.
Gallagher.
You're looking at yeah, Neville's gonna win this. Obviously,
I'm going
it's
with
gonna be close, but it's
I'm going with Devil.
yeah, Neville's winning this.
Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. I'm going with Joe.
Joe,
Uh,
obviously.
Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. They've been promoting the hell out of this, and I'm pretty much like Braun more and more.
Braun's gonna win this. Braun because they as much as Vince loves Roman, I think that Braun is on such a rise that why would you write Braun into a loss at this point? That would be pointless.
Do you think Taker's gonna get involved?
Now, if that happened, I could see something. Yeah, I mean,
especially after what happened at the Rumble where Roman eliminated Taker.
That could happen. Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So your pick is Braun too.
Yep. Yep.
All right, and last, the Universal Championship: Kevin Owens versus Goldberg.
Okay, this has been this. We've been talking about this for weeks, and me and the guys, it's been going back and forth talking about possibilities of what could happen. Here's one of the predictions that came up that is most popular right now. Okay, Fred also contributed to these as well. Fred, myself, a lot of guys talked. Okay, Owens and Goldberg get into it. I see Goldberg is going to he's gonna use his experience and delay the inevitable. Owens is going to delay himself getting destroyed. As a last resort to keep himself from getting hurt, Goldberg's going to actually get to a point where he's going to spear Owens. Okay, Owens is going to have the Bret Hart steel plate on. Okay, Goldberg's going to be out. Owens is going to be down. While all this is going on, Owens is going to recover before Goldberg does and get ready to go for the pin. But what's going to stop it is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is going to foil him. Goldberg's going to get back up. Goldberg is going to get ready to destroy Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is going to have another backup plan in play. And what's going to happen is Samoa Joe is going to come down there. All right, Samoa Joe comes down there and tries to stop the Goldberg. Okay, then Lesnar gets involved. Lesnar takes out Samoa Joe. Then Owens in the stubble gets hit by Jericho again with something like he'll probably hit him with the Cobra or whatnot. Then Owens is going to get up only to find Goldberg sitting in the corner and get speared, jackhammered, game over. That's probably what could happen. But I could be totally wrong and it could end in 3 minutes. Fred said it could end in 3 minutes. It
I
could
really
end like 3
hope and
minutes.
pray to God just not end in 3 minutes because I'm getting real tired.
It could end in 3 minutes. This whole thing could go down in like a minute.
If it does, I'm gonna have a big on that.
This thing, and then again, it could go the opposite, the flip of it. It could end in a double DQ because parties could get involved. Either way, what we predicted though is at the end, if Goldberg is victorious or if he isn't, Lesnar's coming out there to take out Goldberg. Yeah. Lesnar, the event will probably end with Lesnar standing over Goldberg, and Paul Heyman's going to have the final word. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But I guess both our picks pretty much is going to be Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg. It's going to take a lot. It would take an act of God to save Kevin Owens from Goldberg. I mean, it would take something extraordinary to keep Goldberg down 3 seconds, unless they just try to get the DQ. The only way Owens is winning this match is by DQ. This is the only way Owens is winning this match.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. I'd like to thank the California Kid. And shout out to the Pike.
Yeah, you buddy. Are. How you doing, buddy?
But thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. And please hit the bell to let you know when new episodes will appear.
Ding, ding.
And we'll see you later.
Peace out.